Hello GCVians, I am Professor Jugal M. Panchal. Welcome you to my today's video lecture on steam calorimeters. In my previous lecture, I had discussed the first calorimeter, that is bucket calorimeter. We had seen its construction, working and calculation procedure, as well as we had seen the requirement of steam calorimeter and their types. Today I am going to discuss about other three calorimeters. Let us check it out. So this is a content. As I told you, we are going to check out construction, working and say calculation as well as drawbacks of these three: separating, throttling and combined separating, throttling calorimeter. So these are the three important tasks which we are going to perform today. Now, as the name suggests, the first is a separating calorimeter which works on the separating principle. Throttling calorimeter works on throttling principle, and the last one will be working on the combining advantages of both calorimeters. Let us check out separating calorimeter. The separating calorimeter is a second type of calorimeter. First one was a bucket calorimeter. This is its construction. You can see there are around 10 components listed on the right hand side of this slide. Starting with number 1, here it's a control valve. As we open it, number 2, which is a main steam pipe, through this wet steam will enter into this third number, that's a sampling tube. As wet steam enters into the sampling tube, it passes from its second end over and strikes to the compound number 4, which is a perforated tray. Here perforated tray is a very important component for the separation principle. Once it strikes over the compound number 4, say this red color marking arrow indicates that moisture weight particles will be say going down inside the compound number 5, it is inner chamber, and the remaining steam, dry steam, which is say having lesser density compared to the moisture or wetness, wet particles, that dry steam will only go toward the top side and will transfer from the space available between inner chamber and outer chamber, which is compound number 6. Once this steam passes through this space, and during this time, so water particles which is already separated inside the inner vessel will have to check out its height inside the chamber. So to check this height, we have attached this compound number 8, that's a water gauge, and compound number 10 is the tap. Will keep it closed so that the water will not be drained out. Here number 7 is a pressure gauge which will indicate the pressure of the steam going outside from the chamber towards the number 9, that's a high quality steam to barrel calorimeter. So these are mainly 10 components, and let us check out working, calculation and drawback. I have already explained a simple working at present through this figure. Now let me explain you the principle. What is its principle? Its principle, as I told you, is based on separation process, and it is mechanical separation. You can see here separation was achieved using a perforated tray, right, which is a main component, and we assume that all moisture particles, total moisture will be removed using this tray, and just dry steam will go outside. After sampling of this steam, what we'll have to do? We'll have to measure the mass of water separated into the inner chamber, say MW in kilogram. To find this, we will be using density into volume. Volume of water stored inside inner vessel can be calculated by the area of inner vessel multiply with the height of water in the water gauge, which gives us volume of water, and multiply this volume with the density, which can be found from the steam table at a corresponding pressure of the pressure gauge. Next, number 2 is a mass of steam condensed in bucket calorimeter, that is MS. As I told you, after completing the separation process, dry steam will be going to bucket calorimeter where it will get condensed and will measure the mass of this condensed steam, let us say MS kilogram. So simple calculation is dryness fraction, which is a ratio of MS, mass of dry steam, divided by total mass of wet steam, MS plus MW. So the calculation is very simple if you check out. And the drawback is this main single drawback, that is we cannot completely totally remove the moisture particles from wet steam using perforated tray. It is difficult. Number 3, which is a throttling calorimeter. Here look at its construction. Again, there are around 10 components, starting with number 1, which is a control valve here, number 2, which is a main steam pipe, number 3, which is a sampling tube, number 4, which is a pressure gauge, number 5, throttling orifice or throttling valve, number 6, throttling chamber or say throttling calorimeter, number 7 is the U-tube manometer, number 8 is a temperature thermometer, number 9 is a thermometer pocket, and number 10 is a superheated steam going to parallel calorimeter. So 10 components are listed. How they are arranged you have already seen. Say let us check out the principle of working. It works on the throttling principle. Here between this section 1 and section 2 we have seen component 5, which is a throttling orifice or throttling valve. As steam passes through this throttling valve, throttling process occurs, right? And during this throttling process, as we know, enthalpy will remain constant. So H1 will be H2, initial enthalpy will be final enthalpy, but there will be a change. Right? What is that change? Initially steam should be wet, and after throttling steam should be superheated. This is a main thing which we have to achieve in this throttling calorimeter. The construction is already explained. The working is similar to the other calorimeters. We will have to open this number 1 control valve so that wet steam will enter from the main steam pipe into the component number 3 sampling tube, and then we will measure its pressure by pressure gauge number 4. By this throttle valve component number 5, the main component, steam will be converted from wet steam to superheated steam due to throttling process, and the superheated steam will pass directly in this throttle chamber component number 6. We will measure its pressure using manometer number 7. Number 8 is a temperature measuring device thermometer. Number 9 is a thermometer pocket, and number 10 finally superheated steam will go to the barrel calorimeter. Working principle and calculation. Working principle is already explained, throttling process. So enthalpy before and enthalpy after will remain same. Initially wet steam enthalpy, finally superheated steam enthalpy. How to calculate this enthalpies? For that you require basic knowledge of the equation. What is H wet steam? That is HF1 plus XHFG1. And what is H superheated steam? It is HG2. Means at state number 2, dry steam at state number 2 plus Cp of superheated steam multiplied with delta T, superheated temperature minus temperature of saturated steam at second state. Through this we can find the dryness fraction X by this final formula, simplified formula Hg2 plus Cps into delta T, T sup minus T sat minus HF1 divided by HFG1. Remember, this T sup minus T sat is also called degree of superheat. And you can see the same process on this left hand side curve between HS curve. We also call it Mollier diagram, in which you can see the state number 1 indicating wet steam and state number 2 indicating superheated steam. Between this there will be a dry steam state, but we have not marked it here. And the pressure is dropped. You can see during this throttling process initially pressure was P1, but finally pressure is. So this is the actual working using Mollier diagram explained. And what are the drawbacks of this method? So steam must be superheated after throttling. Otherwise, what will happen? So we cannot apply this formula of superheated steam and our answer can be wrong. And second, steam before throttling should be of high quality. Otherwise, again, we will not be able to achieve a superheated steam after throttling, or we will have to throttle it to very low pressure. Next and final calorimeter is a combined separating and throttling type. Here we are going to eliminate drawback of both the calorimeter, and we are going to take the advantage of both calorimeter. As we just mentioned, here you can see between section 1.1 there is a separating calorimeter, and after 2 there is a throttling calorimeter. The limitation of separating calorimeter was that using a perforated tray here we cannot achieve completely dry steam going out of it. And the limitation of the throttling calorimeter was that before entering to the throttle valve it should be of a high quality steam. And we are getting both by combining these two. Other components are almost similar. So working principle is benefit of both type merge, drawbacks are removed. So there is no drawback. Moisture separated in first type of calorimeter from the wet steam, and the high quality steam throttle in second calorimeter converted into superheated. So initially before entering to the any first calorimeter, the dryness fraction is X. So the moisture is 1 minus X, that's wetness fraction, multiply with Ms plus Mw, total mass of steam. So that will give you the initial moisture available inside a wet steam. And this moisture is going to separate by the two calorimeters. First separating calorimeter, moisture separation, and in second throttling calorimeter. So we can write down 1 minus X into Ms plus Mw amount of kg of mass of moisture will be removed. That is equal to how much in first one? 1 minus X1 into Ms plus Mw. This much amount will be removed in first one, plus 1 minus X2 into Ms will be removed in the second one. So from this we can find out the general equation. By simplification, you can see by doing the simplification we get the final equation, that is X is equal to X1 into X2, where X1 is the dryness fraction measured using separating calorimeter and X2 is a dryness fraction measured using throttling calorimeter. So the final X depends on both of them. It is a multiplication of X1 into X2. Thank you. With this I conclude. Let me give you one more thing. I am already sharing the video lectures of expert faculties from our Department of Technical Education recorded. So you already have seen those videos. If you want some more video, you can subscribe their channel also available on, and I will also share that link of the channel in today's videos description. Thank you. Keep learning. Thank you.